Greetings. What I'm showing you here is a picture called The Creation of Adam, or The Making of Adam. This picture here is the most important picture on the entire planet. There's no more picture more important than this picture. It is the making of Adam. And what this picture demonstrates to you is basically showing you how God, the God that lives inside of your head, communicates with you. It's letting you know that God is not a supernatural force that lives outside of you. God lives in us. It lives in our brains. When you're looking at this image of God, you'll see that this is really a dissection of a brain. This is a brain cut in half. And you see what you're looking at is the Creator, what we are calling God, trying to reach his son, Adam. And you look at Adam's face, and you look at God's face, and you see they're the same person, because Adam is the reflection of God. God is trying to reach his son, and this is his son, and this is the older version of God. It's Adam. This is the God inside of us, and this is the portion of us that God has is all-knowing, because he has all the characteristics. He has love, femininity, hate, anger. He has all the emotions that come in here, but he has no link to time. He's connected to no part of time. He's just floating. And this represents the God in us. And this particular part of the God in us that they're showing us is not connected to anything physical. It's the spiritual portion that lives in our body, in our brain. And you'll see that this is Adam. He's connected to this physical form, and he's connected to a rock, the hardest physical form that we have in our simulation that we're living in. This picture is showing you how to communicate with God in the physical place in the body where it's located. This is called the Theustachian Tube. And notice the image is actually opposite now. Here is the brain floating, and here is the physical portion, the mountain that you see in the picture. You notice it's been reversed. You see the mountain in Adam, and then you see God in the brain on this side. He's trying to show us that this here is the brain and the God here, and this is the physical portion and how it touches. This area right here represents God trying to communicate. This is the Theustachian Tube of what they're trying to show you. They're showing you that God talks to you through something called the Theustachian Tube. He's showing us that through the Theustachian Tube. This is the Theustachian Tube. You understand there's even a torus field in here. Understand that torus field in here. And the voice in your ear that talks to you, that gives you all the advice, that tells you don't do this or do this, that voice that you've been hearing all of your life, your entire life, where does it come from? This is the actual location of how God talks to you. It is the Theustachian Tube. It's literally called the U station. It's literally the U station, how God talks to us. And that's why this picture is so important. Understand that this little space right here, that little piece of air, is where we essentially live. The spiritual part of us lives here in that little gap, that bit of air that God breathed into you, as spoken of on Revelation, through your nose. It lives here in your Theustachian Tube. You understand? 1, 2, 3. Understand, this is how God talks to you. And if you ever wanted to know where that voice was coming from, well, this is the exact location of where that voice comes from. It's coming from your Theustachian Tube. And what it's trying to tell you is God does not live outside of you. God lives within you and communicates with you this particular way through your Theustachian Tube. So this is where the voice comes from. Everyone has their own personal God that speaks only to them. You have it, I have it, everyone has it. And the best way to dull your communication with your Creator, your God who speaks and is talking in your ear, is to attack the ears. And that's why so many of these children have ear problems, and they have to keep getting their Theustachian tubes removed, Understand now, you go to a doctor's office, the first thing they want to do for a child who has ear infection is to remove the Theustachian tubes. And when you remove the Theustachian tubes, you remove your direct communication to your God, the Creator. This doesn't matter if you're a Christian, a Jew, a Muslim, gay or straight, we all have a Theustachian tube. And this is what gets communicated and how we communicate through God. And this is what is being damaged and destroyed by shots that the government deemed safe for us to take. But if you ever wanted to know where that voice in your head is coming from, you're looking at it. It's coming from the Theustachian tube. And this is why this picture here, the making of Adam, is the most important picture in the world. You do not have to go to a priest, a preacher, a shaman, no one to hear God. You're hearing God 24 hours a day in your head. That is what you're listening to. That's why this picture is so important. And just like so many other struggles we've had to deal with throughout humanity, you'll find the greatest men in humanity lost their son. And this is God's attempt to try to get his son back. And he's going through the mechanism known as Theustachian tube that's coming in through our ears. The Theustachian tube is God's link, physical link to the spiritual world. See this brain over here floating? Same way God's over here floating. You see this mountain that Adam is on? Here is the mountain that Adam is on, and it's literally called the adenoids, literally the adenoids, and he even have a torus field. So if you ever want to know where that voice in your ear is coming from, or it's coming from your internal God, and it's never wrong, it's always right, it will always tell you the truth, and it will always protect you, and you always have to listen to it, and when you don't listen to it, you end up looking like me. So understand, this is that voice in your head, the Theustachian tube. This is how God talks to us. Can you dig it?